The world of sales is a tough place. And I'm going to tell you, if you're a salesperson looking at one of my videos thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I'm getting the right results for sales, I've got a word for you. You've got to toughen up. In this video, I'm going to share with you a number of key things that you can do as a salesperson to build that word resilience. You need to develop the skill of resilience as a salesperson if you're going to have a career in sales and, more importantly, get the results that you want. So let's take a look at some of the key things that you can do to develop resilience as a salesperson and ensure that you get the results that you want. My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert, and let's have a look at the video and see how you can develop the habits and skills you need to become more resilient. So the first thing I think you need to do is develop some daily mantras that you can use to build that inner resilience in yourself. When I wake up in the morning and I go into the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth, I look myself in the mirror and say to myself, you're good, James, you're brilliant at what you do, and you can have an impact on someone's life today in a positive way. I believe in what I can do, and I give myself that daily mantra and tell myself that I'm good because I know it reinforces in my mind what I do. I also have symbols that I use. I have a little casino chip that I won at a casino a few years ago, and it's in my car, and whenever I'm going into a key meeting or proposal, I'll use the chip and I'll feel the chip and think, yeah, this gives me that feeling of good and I'm feeling great about how I am. And you'll also sometimes hear me talking to myself, come on, James, you can do better. You're good at what you do. You need to develop some daily mantras in your sales approach. Whether you do them in the toilet at work, whether you do them in your car, whether you do them as you get up, whether you do them as you go to bed, it doesn't matter what they are, but you've got to develop mantras that back you and believe in you and do things that can help you build that sense that you're good, you have value, you can offer something, and you have an important part to play in your company or in the role that you do. Develop some daily mantras, do them on a daily basis, make them a habit, and I can assure you it's going to make you feel better, and over a period of time, you'll build up that inner strength inside of you. The second point for me, but I actually think it's probably the most important point for you as any salesperson, is to define your why. The reality is, when I get a knockback from a prospect, the key thing I do is I don't take it personally. I focus on, I've done what I've done because I have a bigger purpose. My bigger purpose is to provide the best infrastructure I can for my family and to be the best person that I can be. Because I have that purpose and because I have a drive and desire to be the best I can be, to help some people and to provide for my family, I know that in the conversations I have, if something doesn't quite work out, I can go back and focus as that is still the goal that I've got. Develop your purpose and your vision and why you're doing what you're doing. And if you haven't got it, talk to me. I can help you develop what that vision is for you so that you can have something that when things don't go right, you can say, that's not a problem. I'm still going to focus on my vision. I'm still going to focus on my bigger goal because that's the most important thing in my life. Do that and you'll be able to take the knockbacks that come in sales, handle them and move forward effectively. So the third point about building resilience as a salesperson is to ensure you surround yourself with people that will build you up and not knock you down. There was a great quote that I've once learned, and that's if you surround yourself with chickens, you're going to cluck, and if you surround yourself with eagles, you're going to fly. If you surround yourself with people that tell you you're a failure and tell you that it's one of those things, it happens, do you know what? You're going to accept it and you're going to carry on living this mundane, mediocre life. If you want more, surround yourself with people, get mentors, get people that can help you get and achieve more, and I can assure you will then achieve more. It's a mindset that can be driven from the people that surround you and work with you. And if you haven't got people that are supportive of you, maybe take a step back, look in the mirror and say, why aren't they being supportive? Ask them to be supportive, and if they can't be, maybe you've got some tough decisions to make in your life about how you want to go and where you want to be compared to where they are. The fourth thing that I say to people in terms of build resilience is to make small challenges for yourself on a daily basis. What those challenges are can depend on you as a person, but by making small challenges and then making sure we hit those challenges, we build up the ability to win and succeed, no matter how small those things are. For example, I have this awful habit where I'm continually seemingly attached to my phone. And do you know what? My wife finds it frustrating and it's rude sometimes when I'm engaging with other people for me to be looking at my phone. So therefore I challenge myself on a regular basis, leave the phone for 30 minutes. Do you know what? The world's not going to end. I can leave it and actually go and do something else. And when I do get that, leave it and come back to it, I've made that challenge happen. I've achieved something and it makes me feel good. Those little challenges are big factors in being able to build your resilience and the ability to show that you can take a challenge on and deliver and achieve something. And that builds you up in a sales perspective so that you can achieve the right sales results you want. So set yourself a challenge. Maybe it's to make 5 prospected emails today. Maybe it's to make 10 calls tomorrow. Maybe it's to learn something for 20 minutes tomorrow. Set yourself a challenge and hit that challenge. And don't stop until you make the challenge happen. If you do that, you're going to build up that inner sense of resilience and that you can achieve things. And that's critical when it comes to winning in sales on a consistent basis. So it's always tempting when we're in a tough situation in our lives or when we've had a knockback from a prospect to see the glass as half empty rather than half full. But I am going to tell you it's vital that you keep your positive mindset in place and see that glass as half full if you're going to get long-term success and if you're to build resilience as a salesperson. When I get a setback or I get someone being rude to me when I'm prospecting, I sometimes feel sorry for myself and I think, oh, the world's not a great place. But then I remind myself, actually, how many people in the world are in a worse position than me? Unfortunately, you only have to turn on the news or look online to see stories of people that are struggling, that don't have money, that don't have a roof, that don't have arms or legs that work, and yet they're still carrying on with their life and doing what they can. And when you look at those stories, it makes me go, do you know what? It's okay. What's just happened is not relevant. It's not important in the grand scheme of things. I can get on with my life. I can put it behind me and make sure I focus on the positives rather than negatives. And I'm going to say to you, you've got to do that in sales if you're going to build the resilience you need to have a long-term career. When something's gone wrong, yeah, take a few moments maybe to consider what you could have done differently or how you could have improved. But instead of wallowing in that self-pity and feeling really sorry for yourself for days on end, look at others that are not as fortunate as you and say to yourself, how can I ensure that I get my mindset in the right place because I'm doing better, I've got more chances, I'm in a better position than so many other people. Use that as a springboard to get better results. So the biggest worries that a lot of salespeople have and the reason they get themselves feeling down is when they get told maybe to go away or when someone's rude to them on a prospecting call. They have this worry that, oh, it's personal. They've really tried to personally offend me. Oh, I'm feeling so bad. And the reality is sales is not personal. Unless you're in a position where you've built such a close long-term relationship with a prospect, the reality is what you do with that prospect, it's not about you, it's about the problem that you can solve for them. Yes, you want to get to know them, but when you're prospecting and engaging with people at the early stages, they don't know you or your company or what you do. And therefore, if they haven't got time to speak to you, or if you've interrupted them in the middle of something, they may be a little bit rude and, off with people. We've all been that way with people that have rung us or interrupted us. And the reality is, if you take it personally, you're going to be in a position where you never get the results you want to. Dust yourself down, build up that resilience, say to yourself, I know that it's maybe at that moment in time for that person, it's a bad moment, but hey, do you know what? It happens. I'm going to not let that get in the way and I'm going to continue to get on the phone. I'm going to continue to raise the next call to speak to the next prospect. I'm going to continue to do what I do because I've got a bigger purpose and what I offer and the value I provide is great. So the reality about sales is that things will happen and change happens when we least expect it to. I was working with a prospect last week who was doing a demo. They're at the 3rd stage of their sales process and they went in, they were excited about the business opportunity that would come from working with their customer. But what happened when they got there, the machine that they were going to do the demo with broke down and they couldn't do what they wanted to do. It was frustrating, but as I said to them as we left the environment, things happen. It's life. You can't predict everything. You can only control what you can control. And in the situation they faced themselves in, they couldn't control that the machine that they were going to work with was going to break down. It happens, and what you've got to realise is that those things happen, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not worth worrying about. You can only control what you can control, and if you control your emotions, your behaviours, and your beliefs, you can build up the resilience to know you're doing the right things in the right areas, and that will in turn give you better long-term sales results. So my final tip for you as a salesperson on how to build that inner resilience is to be in a position when things happen to maybe write them down. I've found that when stressful situations have happened to me or when I've had things not go the way I wanted it to, I've taken the time to write it down, and that's given me 2 things. Firstly, it's allowed me to express some of my frustrations and really share my thoughts on paper so I can take out and put out on paper what I really feel, and that helps me, if you like, dump emotionally what I'm going through. But the second thing that it also does is when I then look back a few weeks later, I can actually see what happened. Maybe I've written down, I lost this prospect opportunity because I didn't do this, this, and this. And it allows me to then learn from that in the future. So if you can take some time to write down what happened, rather than necessarily taking it out on a colleague or a friend or being miserable, just take a few moments, write down what went on, what you can learn from it, and how you can develop and build something different as a salesperson to get better results. And it will help you going forward on your long-term journey and in your long-term bigger picture. The reality is in sales, we spend time on an hourly and daily and weekly basis doing 100 different things and making decisions here and there. We make calls, we send emails, we follow up, we do lots of different things. And the reality is we've got to build that inner resilience to keep going and keep working towards the end goal that we have. If you take the time to write down how you're feeling, share those thoughts, you can look back in time, see how far you've come and see where you were before you got to where you are and where you really want to be. So there are some points on how you can build resilience as a salesperson. I'm telling you now, if you don't have resilience, if you can't build that inner character, that inner self about who you are and how build that strength to be able to deal with situations, you're going to fail in sales on a long-term basis. If you speak to salespeople that have been in the industry for 10, 20, 30 years, the key thing they'll tell you is they've learnt to ride the roller coaster. Sales is a roller coaster. There are great high moments that make you feel exhilarated and the most amazing feelings. And there are the shitty, horrible moments where we feel tough and down and we don't want to do anything. The reality is the key in sales is to make sure that when you have those highs, you love them, but when you have those lows, that you can accept them and don't let them get you and don't let them become you. I'm James White and I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. And I love helping salespeople and sales teams get more from themselves, have more confidence, have more skills and more knowledge to deal with any sales challenge or situation that comes up. And if I can help you and your company, I'd love to be able to do that. If you like the video and think it can add value to other people that you know, I'd love you to share it. And I'd love you to subscribe to my channel so that you can ensure that any of my latest videos you get first access to. My focus is on helping you achieve more. So let's work together. Let's use and share our experiences and knowledges in order to become better salespeople and get better sales results.